7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running, it's the OD in the AM. JJ Buck.
What it do? Welcome in on a Friday morning. JJ Buck, Ned James, Marie with you. A little bit of a late night, but it's a record-setting night in Logan, Utah for the women, and glad to be back. Still a little hoarse, working on that voice this week, but a shout-out to everyone that helped hold it down on the opening drive. Much appreciated as we get ready for Week 18 of the NFL. All the drama has been off the field this week with Antonio Brown, but finally, maybe a little attention turns to what's going to happen on the field. A few playoff spots still to be determined. What are going to be the decisions of some of these teams on Sunday when it comes to who to start, who to rest? It's really a team-by-team situation, how the coach's philosophy goes into it, and maybe how well you're playing at this point in time. But there's only one team in both conferences that will get the week off. So will rest matter? Will it factor in? Because once you get to the postseason, all this stuff we've talked about week to week, night in, night out, goes out the window. Because it's a one-game scenario. It's not about who you've beat anymore. It's not about power rankings. It's about lining up and playing the game of football. So we got a ton of NFL to digest. A lot of college basketball get into this weekend, especially with the men back in action against Utah State at home. The women return home to play San Diego State. We'll talk about that record-setting performance last night. 21 made three-point shots for the women, a program record in their 98-83 win at Utah State. Now, UNM's done with Logan, because they quarantined for a week last year in Logan, played a two-game series a little bit later in the season, and Utah State's done with New Mexico. They're tired of playing this Lobo team. Last year, Lobo women won those two games by an average of 30 points. Had a record-setting performance last night, but hey, those are the games, Ned, that you go in, you got to handle your business.
Yeah, I think Jaden De La Cerda must have heard me when I was on with Stig, talking about her. Her misses before she got a little hot towards the end of the UNLV game, and she lit it up last night. She came out on fire and really kind of set the tone, I think, for the three-point barrage that they had. But I'm proud of those ladies. They really do work hard, and they went through a lot last season. And they deserve it. De La Cerda came back, her and Antonia Anderson, and I mean they're showing that that senior leadership, and they're going to be formidable in the conference, and hopefully we get a shot at making it to the tournament this year. I know they're banged up a little bit, but they're fighting through those injuries, and I think it's a good sign when you're going on the road and winning big like that.
Get the job done. There's never a bad road win when it comes to conference play. Lobo showed that yesterday. Also, college football playoff final. It's a national championship game. Monday night, Alabama and Georgia. It's a rematch. So I want to say thank you to those that stepped up this week and helped out. But y'all forgot about our guests. No Sebastian Noel, no Jerry Palm. So they're going to join us today.
We didn't forget about them. I talked to.
They did? Okay.
Well, I just felt like I communicated.
I appreciate that, Marie, because they didn't communicate that to me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a word with them.
Well, I had a word with Jerry Palm, not Sebastian.
I'm going to have another word then.
Anyways, we missed you.
I missed it.
Yeah.
It was fun, though. It was all over the place this week. It was awesome.
Yes, it was.
I met a lot of old, OGs.
The OGs was in the house.
OGs and the OD. I performed with a producer that used to produce here this week.
Kaylee Ottman bodies that ball. Ava Love, wide open bucket. She drifts through the air and knocks it home. So
out of the corner, no. Nora with the rebound, quickly gets it ahead to Louise. In transition, the left-hand layup is good for Luciano Webster.
oh, Lyra Corona, she has a chance to change that story. She does.
Diaz now with the ball. It's a 3-point lead. Montoya, she tries to equalize. Boom! Olivia Montoya with her second 3-ball of the second half.
There's an assist from half court on the inbounds pass.
That's a long shot. The laser shot. Holy cow. Defense closes down quickly. Garcia Romero for 2.
With the rebound here, Benjamin.
Throw it up.
He's going to throw it up to his big fella, and his third dunk of the night. Hey, remember, Greg Brown doesn't have any timeouts. They get it into Hill. Hill's going to have a chance to win it at the horn. Yeah! He does it. Hill bangs in the 3, and the Hawks win it 60-59.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
I'm Ben Lucero, president and owner of Indigo Mortgage. We are a locally owned and operated mortgage company right here in New Mexico. This means your loan officers and processors are right here to serve you. Our mortgage divisions include residential, commercial, construction, reverse mortgages, and VA mortgage loan. Indigo Mortgage, because nobody cares more about your mortgage loan.
But that's all it was.
Yeah.
I got done with the game, got home, had to call the boss man, called you, Ned, and was like, I'm not gonna be able to do the show for a little bit. So shout out to everyone that stepped up this week, came in, hung out with you on the opening drive, kept us going forward. Just a point where I wasn't gonna be able to talk Tuesday anyway, and then just the extra couple days were huge, just to be able to rest up and not talk in the morning, get ready for that game last night, and back here.
Yeah, it was great. Stiggs was great. It was fun. Stiggs was the first guy to ever talk to me when I first came to UNM, try to do sports. So it was good to kind of catch up, and he kind of learned some things. I thought I told him all this stuff, and he's like, "No, I didn't know all that, Ned. It was great stories, man." So it was fun.
Well, you tell us so many stories.
I
We appreciate it. You probably forget him at times.
I do.
But each time you feel like it's the first time.
I do.
You're telling it, so that's what.
Yeah, his eyes were wide open. Yeah, he was excited, Ned.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that we hadn't talked that much until we started talking in between breaks and segments, and so. But it was good. It was great.
Amory, that is our quarterback, Ned James. JJ Buck with you. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Quan's Auto Care Hotline is 246-0610. You can send a text. It is 505-246-0610. And Ned, you're talking about it's players make the plays. You got to have the talent to win. And I think there's a lot of coaches in college athletics that are still trying to adjust to just how different things are. Because we've been hit so fast with so many changes in college athletics, with name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal. But it's not just the transfer portal, it's the immediate eligibility. Mm-hmm. I think that is changing the game faster than even name, image, and likeness. Because it just ain't easy to hand out money like that and snap a finger, because you got to find people to pay that money. You got to find endorsements for the players. Sure. So I don't think that has had as big of an impact on college athletics as has the immediate eligibility and all that. I think that is the biggest game changer that has led to Dabo Swinney, the coach of one of the best programs in college football, complaining every other day about something going on and tampering and adults doing this, adults doing that. Like, slow down, man. You're a part of this game. Like, you can do whatever you want in college football. So take your orange suit and be quiet for a little bit, Dabo Swinney. Yeah. But it is different, and coaches have to play this game with a player committing. Was it Dylan Gabriel? Commits to UCLA, then the Oklahoma quarterback enters the transfer portal and is like, oh, I'm going to go to Oklahoma. Yeah, it's different. It's not what we're used to. It's going to take a lot of people a long time. Some people might not even come back to college athletics. If that loses you in college athletics, well, all right, have fun watching the NFL on the weekends. But it's something that in time, I believe it will work itself out because the numbers are crazy. The transfer portal numbers are crazy right now, but these players will start to learn you don't leave every Group of 5 program and land at a Power 5 program. You don't leave a program and get yourself that awesome car dealership endorsement that everyone gets stuck up on. So I think it will take time, and college athletics is going to feel different in the offseason. It's going to look different at times, but guess what? It's going to be okay.
Well, I mean, and I see where the old heads or the OGs are looking how they're looking at it, because in this new era of change, it happens so fast. The guys are jumping into the portal and they're moving so quickly, and that's what's scaring these guys, because they don't know why and how these guys are getting into the portal, what the plan is. Because once you jump in, sometimes guys will have deals done before they jump in the portal. And then, next thing you know, they're somewhere else, and they've got some sort of handshake agreement to do something. So that's what I think the majority of the coaches are afraid of, because they've done it, and so that's why they're afraid other people are doing it to them now, and they don't know where it's coming from. And of course, you're going to go after the best. And if you got the best players, where else to start? If I'm a street free agent, if I'm a street agent, if I'm a guy who's trying to start my business up. Oh, I'm sitting on the campus of Alabama, and I'm sitting on the campus of Clemson, South Carolina, and I'm asking the young men, your coach makes $15 million. He's not going across the middle. Now, tell me what your union is doing for you guys. Oh, you guys don't have a union. Oh, you guys don't have workman's compensation. So what are you getting out of this deal? You're getting an education. Oh, okay. So tell me about your classes. So it's all of that. You've got agents who are going out there and they're recruiting these guys hard and heavily, and they're trying to place them. And it's from the lowest level to the highest level. And I know guys think that that can't happen. That's not why guys are leaving, and it's a combination of a lot of things. And okay, if you want to think that, and the way you build a team is by people wanting to be at your university, and that's true. But there's 5 guys making over $100 million in academic institutions. Something's wrong, and it ain't the kids.
Yeah, and this is why, in college athletics, and why we kind of on this right now. Well, you see the changes that are happening so fast, and Aaron Dumas was a bright star for this Lobo team offensively. He entered his name in the transfer portal yesterday. Now, you take a step back, you say, all right, is Nate Jones going to still be around? Because if Nate Jones, who put his name in the transfer portal after last season, came back to UNM, Danny Gonzalez, him were working things out. He was kind of putting Nate Jones through it, saying, all right, you want to earn back the trust, you need to get back on track with whatever it is academically, on the field, off the field. He was scout team. He was redshirted. If Nate Jones comes back, that's RB1.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And so you've got a guy who's comparable to Aaron Dumas. I don't know if what the reasons were. Guys have all kinds of reasons why they jump in the portal. So, I mean, we shouldn't speculate. But, especially when it comes to, the fact if they're getting paid or if they're, going there for some sort of, reason that, maybe won't work out the way they think it is. Because we had a lot of guys who left. Elijah Lilly's played up at Colorado Mesa, who was, who would have thought he would have, went down based on, his performance at the FBS level. But, a lot of these kids, see themselves differently. There's other people outside that see them differently. Danny himself has even admitted that, hey, I'm going into the portal to find someone.
You have to
get a quarterback.
These days in college athletics, you have to figure out a way to develop. And maybe if you lose one of those 2 kids, it stinks. But you have to keep finding the high school players to bring in and develop and hit the transfer portal. Same thing goes for basketball. I know Richard Pitino has said he didn't want the quick fix. Well, you know what? That's not always a bad thing.
No.
Especially if you find a quick fix at forward.
Yes.
That can be a good thing.
Yes.
I get if you don't want to have 4 or 5 players every year when you're trying to create a new roster. That's understandable. But this is the game. You got to find that balance. You got to find some players you can develop, maybe keep around 2 or 3 years, and then you got to impact players right away. And now we've seen that really over the last few years in college basketball, but it's hitting so much harder in college football. I think why there's so much talk, frustration, even coaches at the highest level, like a Dabo Swinney talking out. Dabo's just frustrated because he got beat this season.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the national championship game.
And he doesn't have the backup.
And there's nothing that Dabo Swinney needs to be complaining about. That is our quarterback, Ned James. Amory with you, J.J. Buck. Alden holding it down on ProView Networks. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
FNF Construction and the New Mexico DOT.
For great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
The opening drive, J.J. Buck, Amory, Ned James. Got Jerry Palm joining us at 8:30, CBS Sports, preview the national championship game. It's round 2. Surprise, surprise. Alabama and Georgia. Who has a higher salary cap, Ned? Is it Alabama right now?
Ooh. Alabama and LSU are neck and neck. Georgia's in there with Florida. Ole Miss is right below those guys at tier. Ohio State's in there. SC's in there. You know, I'm just telling you, if people, they think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not.
Well, now everyone to play that game that SEC football doesn't. I think you hit the nail on the head, Ned, when it comes to fundraising. Talk about Lobo clubs, booster clubs. Oh, we're going to have a great dinner. Please donate money. No, you're just donating money to the salary cap now for universities. Donate money so we can get the talent in to be successful, so teams can win games and fans can be happy.
Right, because the fans, they're not listening to that developmental stuff. They're not. They don't want to know that little Jimmy's getting an A in biology on campus. They want to know if Jimmy can put the ball in the hoop or if Jimmy can score touchdowns.
Hey, is Jimmy get the buckets? That's what they want to know. Speaking of buckets, big weekend of Lobo basketball. New Mexico State can play a conference game yet. The men had another one postponed yesterday because Lamar had issues. So New Mexico State, that goes down as a W due to forfeits for Lamar. They're not messing around in the WAC. You can't play. Too bad. They're not about this flexible scheduling that we're starting to see in the Mountain West. So New Mexico State men's, New Mexico State men's basketball gets that W for their record, but it won't count towards like their net rankings or anything along those lines. So it's day by day right now in these games. And as we sit here, Friday morning, 7:34, Lobo men are scheduled to be back in action. They didn't have a game this week anyway, but with the initial Colorado State postponement, they went from December 21st to the start of conference play. I'm playing like 3 games. So it's a challenge in itself. There's only so much practice that you can do. You got to have that game time to get better. Utah State comes in, and Utah State is a pleasant surprise for the Mountain West. this season with the changes that they had. Their coach left. Ryan Odom comes in because Utah State's coach Craig Smith took the Utah job this past season. And you look at Utah State, and you thought they would be more in the mix kind of with the New Mexico, Wyoming. All right, what are these teams going to look like? Well, they're a little bit of a step ahead right now, especially with Justin Bean, an all-conference level forward. So Justin Bean went from the role guy, because you had Sam Merrill, Neemias Queta, to the guy this season. He has taken a huge step forward. And really for the Lobos, it's about how consistent can they be offensively. Because this Lobo men's basketball team right now is going to have to outscore people in shootouts.
Yeah, because of the post play. And, it's unfortunate, and, our players...
And by the way,
Muscadin's
the
family...
Muscadine situation,
yeah. I mean,
I saw that earlier
talked
this week.
to his girlfriend, I talked to him, he was in one of my programs, so I talked to him a lot. And it's just awful what happened with him, and the fact that, he's one of those young people are confused about, where they should be and that sort of thing. And, the accident and everything. But like you said, the post play... it's going to be an issue, and that's why I brought it up. I don't know how the transfer rules work, and guys may call in and say, hey, this is how it works. But, you got 2 scholarships. You got 2 post guys with he and Valdir.
If someone was available mid-semester, they could have added someone.
Yeah.
If they wanted to.
And
if there was anyone they felt was good enough.
Good enough, yeah, at that time, yeah. But in some respects, you just, do you just kind of leave those 2 scholarships open? I mean, it's kind of a
season.
Yeah,
that's the way it's looking.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking. But man, boy, it's a win now environment. You almost have to try to go get somebody with those 2. But and I understand you're trying to develop and build, but you just don't know which guys are leaving, and how guys, through the semester, injuries, those kind of things happen. So. We'll see. I mean, I just think they could have used some help. I would have hoped that they would have gotten a little bit of some post help, but like you said, they can score the ball.
With what we're talking about, the change in college athletics and so many players moving, it is tough to just in season even be able to find like a free agent like that.
Yeah,
like it's essentially it's free agency.
Yeah,
coaches are showing to acknowledge it. They understand that, but a mid-season acquisition, and it's really unfortunate because when you hear Richard Pitino talk about Jethro Muscadine, they did have kind of an extended relationship with someone he recruited out of high school to Minnesota. He went to Kansas and was able to land here, and you saw he this season had the highest ceiling off the bat. Like he was the Lobo starting center. So that's it's hard to see sometimes from the outside looking in. You're like, this kid has all the opportunity. He could be playing 30 minutes a game if he wanted to, because this year he was the Lobos' best post player.
Yeah, and
then to just see not even
and people,
mid-season that he's off the team.
And people outside should see how hard it is, how the work you have to put in to keep these guys here. That's why I always joke about, hey, if you see a big, tall, brother downtown, say hi to him, treat him nice so we can keep him here at UNM. But we allocate a lot of resources to try to help these young men adapt and stay here. And we did a lot to try to keep Jethro here.
Nice.
It's unfortunate, some kids, it's just so hard for them. They're developing, their bodies are developing, their minds, socially, emotionally, they're developing.
Absolutely gets lost as college athletics. It's big business, but you get it's big business built around 18 to 23-year-old kids.
Yeah, it is, and you have to remember that, and we have to remember that. I know we joke a little bit here, but you have to remember that they are young people, and you have to be careful with them at times, but also at the same time they're adults once they turn 18, and they understand there's consequences to their actions, and so like with the whole guys jumping into the portal. Mama tell you, hey, when you jump in that portal now, they don't have to pay your scholarship money anymore. The food, your card working at at La Posada doesn't work anymore. So, you're on your own essentially until you find that new place. The school's not obligated. So it is, from that sense, growing up for a lot of these guys. And so hopefully, we're not going to hear too many horror stories about guys going into the portal, but you never know.
And with that, something that Richard Pitino has talked a lot about since the Nevada game is trust. And these guys having to learn to trust each other to play basketball. Because the one thing with UNM, they might lack size at this moment in time, But that does not mean that the offense shouldn't be getting shots off, shouldn't still be playing at a high tempo. Nevada in that second half forced them into a lot of tough isolation basketball. You're going to have 3 or 4 shooters on the floor constantly. Yeah, you might be an undersized team, but that's why they're playing at such a high tempo. And that's what they got to do. Got to move the ball, get those shots, because that's what this team can do to compete. But that is harder to compete night in and night out when you are so focused on having to hit your jump shots. But the game of basketball, shoot those threes, you get to the basket.
But you know my philosophy, JJ. You know my philosophy. It goes through football, basketball, baseball. This is a big man's world. You got to have a big. You got to have a guy.
Well, they don't right now.
I know. I understand that. I understand. And they're trying to. Forsling is one of my favorite guys.
Sebastian Forsling.
Sebastian's a great guy.
If he makes it to his junior season, he's going to be the next Daniel Ferris. I don't know if I'm going to go Cam Barris, because Cameron Barris turned into an NBA draft pick. And I saw you light up there, Marie.
I love Daniel Ferris. I grew up with him.
Daniel Ferris. Haven't talked with him in a while.
I'm going to hit him up.
He's a friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show?
Yes.
I got to hit him up.
He absolutely is.
He doesn't know me by my stage name, but I'm going to
hit him up again.
He
knows who we are.
I'm
really
been on the
OD. He's shared the stories.
That's a throwback for me. Like
his time in
middle school, like I go way
Lebanon
back.
and playing basketball overseas. But Daniel Ferris was this skinny kid, El Dorado High School.
So tall.
Comes in. He's tall. Can't teach height, Ned. You know that, right?
That's right.
You can't get him here and make him 6 inches taller.
Nope.
Comes in. He's kind of, all right, local kid on the team. All right, whatever. New coaching staff comes in. Junior, senior year, he develops into like an all-conference level forward. But Sebastian Forsling has the size already that he's the dude that he sticks around. He is going to be a very good post player.
Smart.
It's just that's in 3 years.
Yeah.
And no one wants to hear that. That's the hardest thing.
You're right.
But I do give credit to those Lobo fans out there. When they're talking about Sebastian Forsling, they believe. Because they're mentioning Daniel Ferris. They're mentioning Cam Barstow. Kid that comes in, has the tools, but you know it's going to take time. But what does this team have to do to compete right now? It's all about the offense. It's the jump shooters.
Yeah.
And when you have that, your margin for error is slim. Unlike other teams that can maybe play smugly basketball, grind it out, defend it out. Not quite the case for the Lobo men's basketball team right now. 246-0610 is the Quan's Auto Care hotline. We'll take your calls. If you're on hold, please hold on. We'll get to you on the other side of this break. A ton to get to this morning. Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, joins us at 8:30. We got Sebastian Noel, ProView Networks at 9. We got tournaments going on around the state. Albuquerque Metro Tournament boys and girls semifinals tonight. We'll talk about the job opening at Cleveland High School with Heath Rittenhauer, head football coach taking a job on Danny Gonzalez's staff at the University of New Mexico. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Did you know that doctors... TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
I prefer to do stuff online. I can find things much quicker, do the research I need, and have it shipped or waiting for me to pick up. The Shop by Payments option was perfect for me. I got online, clicked on Shop by Payments, put in my down payment and monthly budget, and the guessing was done. From laptop, I was able to nail down the bike I wanted, add a few customizations, and get an estimate on my trade-in.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
Hi, I'm Joe with Everguard Roofing and Solar, and I'm proud to say I'm standing next to our University of New Mexico Lobo football quarterback, Terry Wilson. We at Everguard Roofing and Solar are active in our community, and we love the Lobos.
What I love about Everguard Roofing and Solar is their commitment to excellence, and that's what I'm all about. That's why I support this company, because they care about the people of New Mexico.
A hole in your roof or a whole new roof?
Go Lobos.
Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet?
I'm a little glad that I didn't have to do the Antonio Brown drama all week long, because good golly molly,
it was all week.
What else is there to add?
Yes, it was.
Like, Tampa Bay brought that on themselves. You keep giving this guy 3rd, 4th, 5th chances. He's not changing. And, you know, Antonio Brown is going to make everything about himself and then blame everyone else. It's who he is. It's what he's done. And you cater to Antonio Brown. You kept him around when you said it was one and done. Well, it wasn't one and done when it came to off-the-field stuff, because he had the fake COVID vaccine card, and he kept him around because it's the NFL. It's about winning. I get it. But at some point in time, it's also just take a step back and go, I'm done talking about it's the bad dude. We overlook so much in sports. And I understand the frustration. Sometimes, fans listening, you're on your moral high horse now, but what about this? What about that? I get it. We talk through all this stuff. We have a lot of time. But there's one person at fault in this. It's Antonio Brown. Tampa Bay brought it on themselves. They gave him a bunch of chances. They looked the other way because he needed wide receivers. Chris Godwin was out for the season. Mike Evans got hurt. But I've seen enough to where, to me, I saw so many people still trying to defend Antonio Brown. And does he need help? I don't know. That's for professionals to decide at this point in time. I'm not talking about his mental status. Right. But I've seen the video of him verbally abusing people. I've seen the allegations against him. That is a bad dude. And if he's not catching touchdown passes, I don't care.
Right. And that's exactly what the point is it's a business. And he treated it like a business. He's on social media. That's part of his business. He comes out with a rap song. That's his business. It's all about, hey, going into the general manager's office the week before because he knew he wasn't going to get those incentives. And hey, I want the $1 million up front. When a guy walks into your office and tells you he wants $1 million and you don't give it to him, you may want to think about cutting him right then and there.
See how this.
You have 3 minutes till music.
2460610 Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Rudy, good morning, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Heading up to Taos to make some turns now that they got all that snow. So
yeah, let's get it.
I'll give you the ski report on Monday. But I really enjoyed listening to the game last night, watching it on the Mountain West with you, JJ, because when I watched the Boise State game, I did not know we had a Jayla De La Sera playing for UNF. So he kept calling, the announcer kept calling her Jayla De La Sera. And I was like, okay, I guess we have a new player on the roster, but last night was bombs away. That was really impressive. I don't know if I've ever seen a team shoot the ball like that from the three-point line.
Well, he never had because that was a program record. 21 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we've come close. We've hit a lot of three-pointers. That was exceptional, and I think, what was it, 14 of 21 for De La Cerda and Latay?
Yeah, they were in the first half. Tay had 16. De La Cerda, it was 18 or 16. I forget at this point in time what they had. They just started the game on fire. That's what this team does, man. They shoot threes, attack the basket, and when they are on, it is a whole lot of fun to watch.
I'd like to see a little more defense, but it's hard to play defense when you're bombing away like that. I mean, you're just feeling it, and you want to get that side of the court taken care of so you can come back down on the offensive side and hit another shot. So I get that. But I agree with Coach Bradbury, and I think this team, it's going to go really as far as they can play better defense. I thought that the two defensive efforts against UNLV and Boise State were pretty good because those are two really good teams. So right now, UNM looks like they're in the catbird seat in the women's race. Man, I feel so bad for Jethro Muscadin. Of all the decisions and things that could happen, who would think going to sleep in the back of the car and now you're in a coma? I don't know what the dynamic was there and who he was listening to, because I thought that if he had stayed here, he could have really blossomed into the post player and done really good. Now, you got Irma Sack, and he's out with that injury, and Sebastian Forsling reminds me of Luke Longley when Luke was a freshman. Just a big hulking guy, didn't really know where to go on the court, but he kept working, and look at what happened to Luke. So, you got, I think Forsling has the height and the size. He's not a little guy. So if he could just work on his footwork and his aggressiveness at the right time, I think he can be a real player for UNM in the post. This year, it is what it is. It's hard to play in the post when you're a freshman. The only one I've ever seen that really did an amazing job was Kenny Thomas.
Yeah, and that worked out pretty well. So, Rudy, appreciate
He did. Appreciate your time, guys.
All right, thanks, Rudy. He got in 246-0610, the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. You can send a text, Sports Animal text line 505-246-0610. Loboman hosting Utah State tomorrow, 6 o'clock in the pit. It's going to be a tough game, but what's not a tough game at this moment in time, especially when you're a rebuilding team. And you're talking about the three-point shooting for the women and how they play. The difference is the experience. That's a team. Start 5 seniors. Antonia Anderson is underrated in her defensive ability. She had 5 block shots last night. So those are the areas where, for the women, there's some frustration. Mike was frustrated at times last night. It was one of the ones you're like, oh, this is a great game because they're shooting threes. Yeah. There's the defensive lapses. They're giving up some buckets. And in a high possession game, you're going to give up some points. But they're still happy. 21 made threes for the women. The men are going to have to shoot like that to knock off Utah State tomorrow in the pit. We'll continue to talk Lobo basketball. Aggie fans, I know you're out there. A lot of frustration. Sometimes you throw your hands up and say what you're supposed to do. The men had their game against Lamar postponed last night due to issues with Lamar. It's W in the win column, but doesn't go down on your net rankings, all that stuff, the resume for the postseason. We got Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, coming up at 8:30. Got Sebastian Well, ProView Networks at 9. Ned James, Emery, JJ Buck, Alden Hold It Down on ProView Networks. Happy Friday, everyone, here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Dream style roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. There at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green. And keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
Hi, I'm Joe with Everguard Roofing and Solar, and I'm proud to say I'm standing next to our University of New Mexico Lobo football quarterback, Terry Wilson. We at Everguard Roofing and Solar are active in our community, and we love the Lobos.
What I love about Everguard Roofing and Solar is their commitment to excellence, and that's what I'm all about. That's why I support this company, because they care about the people of New Mexico.
A hole in your roof or a whole new roof?
Go Lobos.
Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of Pro V Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one.
Drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Cindietta, and JJ Buck.
Jeff back on Monday from his vacation. And he texted me this week. He's like, dude, what the heck is up? What's going on with the OD? I was like, well, my voice decided to leave me. Things are happening. Amory's still there, pulling it down.
I'm here.
Got that at least going for us.
Everyone did a great job.
It
was just a different feel this week.
Thank you to all that stepped up, including Ned on Tuesday.
Brandon next door. Brandon Vogt.
Brandon Vogt came in.
Ryan Tamari. We got Ned. We got Michael Carlisle. I mean, it was all over the place. Stigler. It was a fun. I was like every day. I was like,
Radio
who's
Legends.
Gonna be here? Yes. Radio Legends.
BB, who was.
I'm the new one. You know, these are some like legends.
Oh, I know Brandon Vogt. That day will give the station the best ratings it's had in a long time. That man has followers. Shout out to BV. I'm a big
People
fan
were
of
emailing his email
Brandon
from like a
Vogt.
long time ago. It was awesome.
Fantastic.
Interesting topics too.
Oh yeah, it's my little different feel at times.
I love it.
BV, check him out middays on News Radio KKOB 1 to 3 BV today, and then of course the legend that is Scott Stigler coming in. Mike Carlisle, hear him all over the place now, and the Cumulus family of radio networks. Now Ned James joining us, and I know it was a bit of a curveball, so appreciate your flexibility.
Yeah,
They
thanks.
called it Monday night. I'm like, so I'm not going to be doing
Monday
radio
quarterback.
tomorrow.
Come on down.
Doing in the morning, man. Before you drive into UNM.
So appreciate that. Got a lot to get into still. Opening drive with you here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. All the producers over on ProView Networks, Alden holding it down this morning.
I got to meet everybody this week.
What a week it is. Great week for A-Marie. Just get the insight, the inside information. Learn why we have so many fans that still like to email in with nicknames for the American Stiglo.
Yeah.
Stigatron.
Or they'll call in and be like, I've known this guy for so many years. They give me their whole backstory, what they've done, people call in. It's great.
Absolutely. Yep. But thank you to all that hung out with us this week on Opening Drive. Different voices is good. Different opinions is nice. And Jeff is back on Monday, so don't you worry, folks. Your Opening Drive, the captain will be back. We got Jerry Palm coming at 8:30, Sebastian Noel at 9. And got to catch up with our regular guests and knock it out. College football playoff Monday night, Alabama, Georgia, round 2. I was a bit surprised, and we touched on this on Monday. Shout out to Josh Eshon as well, who hung out with us this week. It's like the longest and shortest week ever, it feels like, just from my perspective, looking back at Monday. But we're surprised to see Georgia 3-point favorites earlier in the week, that initial line. Or just what we saw was all of our overreaction to the SEC title game, and then Georgia getting back on track, handling Michigan.
Well, yeah, Georgia, I knew Georgia would give Michigan problems because I thought Georgia had the best defense in college football. And I thought, Michigan hadn't really played against a really good defense like Georgia. And so I knew Georgia is just going to be efficient on offense. They're not going to be anything spectacular, but they'll be efficient. I didn't expect it to get away that quick. It got away pretty quick in that game. But the Alabama situation, and you're telling me the quarterback's not getting $1 million. He's getting
maybe he is,
a couple
maybe he's not.
100,000, couple.
He's getting money.
He's getting monies, but he's not getting what everybody initially thought. I just think that for what Alabama can do to you offensively, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Georgia. Alabama's defense is going to be solid. They're not spectacular. They're not great, but they're going to be solid. And Georgia's an efficient offense. So, I mean, whether Georgia should be favored by 3, should it be a pick'em game? It's close. It's going to be close. So, hopefully, Georgia, they're going to play better on defense than they played that first game against Alabama. They will play better. The big defensive tackles got something to prove to everybody because, they started hyping up Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. Yeah. So he went out and showed them that, hey, okay, this guy's supposed to be great. I'm going to show you something. And he was just all over the place. So I'm curious to see how they handle him up front. If they can do that, then Alabama will be successful. If he gets off and he decides he wants to play, it's going to be tough sledding for Alabama. But I still, Alabama is just Alabama. That just Nick Saban, he's just really good.
Well, that explosiveness.
Game.
Georgia is good defensively, but then you also question, they never saw an offense like Alabama to that point, and then how many big plays Alabama was able to connect on against Georgia, the mistakes that they capitalized on in the secondary. So those things are going to change. Georgia's been looking at that and say, hey, we're going to clean it up here. But then it's the flip side. In Alabama, Nick Saban and that staff is going to say, all right, we know that they're going to try to clean up in this area, so let's try to attack them over here. And I know a lot of people might be frustrated. All right, round 2, Alabama, Georgia. But these are the 2 best teams in college football right now.
Yes, they are.
And if you didn't want to see this again, then Michigan should have beaten Georgia. But they couldn't hang with them.
Right. And a lot of people are talking about the draft and the NFL draft and the fact that there's no quarterbacks that they really think are right. The reason why is because the best quarterback's at Alabama. The guy is really good at Alabama, the quarterback, Bryce Young, who won the Heisman Trophy, by the way. That guy is really good. And so that's what's really going to be the difference, I think, in this game. Can he play to that Heisman level in this big game? To them, it's like business as usual. That's the thing that just really drives you nuts with Alabama. It doesn't seem there's anything that really rattles this team.
Well, it's because and they're so good at somehow, some way, always finding a chip on their shoulder. Like the whole Nick Saban stuff after the SEC title game, when he was like, the media, y'all gave us that rat poison we needed. It was yummy, yum, yum. Who's doubting you? Who's ever doubting Alabama at this point in time? But how are you getting that message across to your team where they buy into that and they don't get over their skis?
Yeah,
in these moments,
he must have a master's degree in psychology or something because he's getting inside these kids' head and he's making them believe that, hey, this is, you're really not as good as you think you are, even though you're a 5-star or he's got 35-star recruits on that team still. So he has a great way of convincing them that they are definitely underachievers and they've got to overachieve, and that's how he gets them to play. And he's got stick men again, like Devontae Smith, skinny guys playing receiver, and those guys just all they do is catch touchdowns.
Won a Heisman Trophy, Devontae Smith.
Right, but he just looked like the stick man. He's so thin and skinny, but he's got those same type of guys, and maybe that's the kind of guy to recruit. And these guys are scoring touchdowns. I mean, they get small windows. They catch the ball in those small windows.
It is interesting when you look at Alabama. They got the small receivers, but the biggest running backs in college football.
Yes, and they have a plethora of running backs. So if one goes down, there's another guy that comes in, and you go, where has that guy been?
Oh, and we always know that's the difference, and that it's a classic Rocky Long phrase. Talking point. He says, I'll take my best 22 guys and play against anyone. It's just when we get to guy 30, guy 40, that's going to be the difference.
Right. And that is typically when the difference, the issues occur when you start getting those athletes who can't really stand up to these super athletes. And that's a big part of, this whole NIL deal, and I know Alabama's battling that as well as everybody else is. Alabama's going to start complaining here in the next year or so because guys are going to get on that campus and they're going to start picking some of those guys off. And sure, you could stay there and try to win a national championship, or you can try to get paid while you're in college. So I just think it's just one of those things that's going to come to fruition, because there's going to be guys competing for star players. And so once that gets rolling, once that gets ramped up, we're going to start seeing interesting things, even at this level.
And coming off the semifinals, you're going to see the ratings were down a bit. The games weren't great. So some people are going to use that like a case against expanding the college football playoff. I think ultimately we're going to see 8 be that number. And not every game that you're going to play in the postseason is going to be great. Sometimes you're still going to have a team or two that is just that much better. In this case, it's Alabama and Georgia. They are better than everyone else.
Yeah.
But when you have a playoff, it's about opportunity. And maybe some of the other games could be really exciting, because we did see some really good bowl games. Whether you want to say it was sloppy or not, the Rose Bowl was sure as heck exciting.
Yeah.
And if that's a quarterfinal game moving forward.
But the backstory of the Rose Bowl, Ohio State had 20 guys out.
That's fine.
And they still won. And so that just shows you the level.
Well, you should be happy, because Ned James did not want to see Utah play in the Rose Bowl. Ned James did not think Utah should be any good.
Yes, I do. You're right. You're right. I'm biased against Utah.
They should be happy.
They should be happy
that Utah, who had to play a running back at cornerback,
yeah,
could not knock off Ohio State.
And Ohio State had to play a running back at linebacker. And they were able to
bowl season, baby.
Yeah, they had to shut down. You know, they had these 20 guys. They had all these receivers holding out, and then all of a sudden they've got 2 first-round receivers for next year, because the 3 that sat out the game, the 3 that came in were pretty good. And so, and the thing, to me, the Texas schools, it's just going to be fascinating. Texas and Texas A&M, because Texas still has the best. I mean, Texas and California got the best players. Now, Texas A&M. Getting the LSU quarterback, you know, like you said, the portal, the transfer immediately type thing, it's going to change the game.
What about Auburn getting the Texas A&M quarterback?
He wasn't as good as the LSU quarterback. So, I mean, it's just free agency. It's just like, you know, hey, Stafford getting traded for Jared Goff. You know, it's just these guys are just moving around on these teams. They're going to where they think they can get the best deal. I don't know what was said to Brad Johnson's kid to make him want to go to A&M. But, you know, the kid that came in, he came in for an injured player, the Texas A&M quarterback.
Zach Calzada?
Yeah. And so for him to transfer to, where did he go to? Auburn. You know, it'd be interesting, because he probably thought, hey, they don't really think I'm good, even though I beat Alabama. They don't think I'm good here at Texas A&M. And so that's how it works. You know, that's he's the Texas A&M coach is the coach of the Rams, Sean McVay of college football, because he says, hey,
Fisher?
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher is Sean McVay. Hey, my quarterback's not good enough. I'm gonna go get the quarterback for the other team, bring him here, even though my team even though he beat Alabama, he's not good enough.
And it always, Amory, somehow, some way, comes back to Jared Goff. Jared Goff's #1 fan. That is Ned James.
That's right.
Amory, JJ Buck with you. Alden Holetown of ProView Networks. You're listening to 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Usenex extended release.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I prefer to do stuff online. I can find things much quicker, do the research I need, and have it shipped or waiting for me to pick up. The Shop by Payments option was perfect for me. I got online, clicked on Shop by Payments, put in my down payment and monthly budget, and the guessing was done. From laptop, I was able to nail down the bike I wanted, add a few customizations, and get an estimate on my trade-in.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
I'm Ben Lucero, president and owner of Indigo Mortgage. We are a locally owned and operated mortgage company right here in New Mexico. This means your loan officers and processors are right here to serve you. Our mortgage divisions include residential, commercial,
He is definitely a part-time bro, and for all the listeners out there, I've committed to the Indiana Pacers this year. I had to pick an NBA team, you know? I'm all over the boat, all over the map. And with NBA players, and it is just like
they got the Vikings feel to them.
Oh, they're such the Minnesota Vikings feel. As you all know, I'm a Minnesota Viking fan, so it was an easy transition for me. I mean, Lance Stevenson coming out, having an outstanding game. What is that man?
Stevenson scored 20 points in the first quarter. No one's ever done that.
For the Indiana
and he's
Pacers.
On a 10-day with the Pacers.
10 days with the Pacers, and he's just...
It's Lance Stevenson.
That's like... So typical already, and I'm a new fan to the team. This is and then we give up a huge lead in the third quarter, and that's a trend for the Indiana Pacers. And
Malcolm Brogdon's been out. Miles Turner wasn't playing.
I mean,
Karis LeVert isn't there.
Yeah, it's
so
tough.
I think that was more.
But Kyrie Irving,
how is Brooklyn losing this game?
He gets to do what he wants and play what games he wants, and how exciting for him.
So Kyrie Irving made his debut this week.
In a place you don't have to be vaccinated, or is he vaccinated? I don't even care. But
he's not, because he's not playing home games
right.
Yet. And so that tells you everything you need to know about Kyrie Irving. And with this season, the players in and out, that the NBA has already set a record in players who have played in an NBA game this season.
The number of players.
The number of players who have played in an NBA game. I think it was Greg Monroe that put him over the top. Gosh, I love Greg Monroe. He's one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
So when he played for Minnesota, he was 541. 541 NBA players playing in a game this season. And that number has risen since then. But it's because of the COVID protocols, players being out, and the NBA is like, we got to keep moving forward.
Yeah. I love the 10-day contracts.
I love the 10-day contracts because you get Greg Monroe back. You got Lance Stevenson out there, like, scoring 20 points in the first quarter. You're like, what? Where's this guy been?
Yeah.
Mario Chalmers on the bench.
Making those scouts eat. Those scouts are earning their money, man, going out there trying to find players.
You see some guys balling. Well, what about Kiefer Sykes for the Indiana Pacers coming in, having 18 points, 5 assists in that game against Brooklyn? And a lot of those scouts might be sweating it a little bit, going, oh.
These aren't rec league players that are out here playing now. These are ballers. But the vaccine thing changes the whole thing, and it cost A. Marie's team a playoff bid because her Kirk Cousins, Mr. Anti-Vaccine Man. If you like Kirk Cousins, let me know so I can stop talking about it because I'm going to keep going on him.
We also lost because we lost very important games with
Zimmer,
Kirk Cousins.
I think Zimmer would have cut him in training camp if he could after the guy decided he wasn't going to take the vaccine.
Well, I don't think
they had
so.
$50 million to give him.
But also Dalvin Cook,
cut Mike Zimmer.
Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Harrison Smith. There's so many unvaxxed players on the Minnesota Vikings.
He's a good coach, but they're not the quarterback.
He's not the coach for the Minnesota Vikings, though. He said he's gonna have. I hope he has a great career somewhere else. Be a defensive coordinator. Good luck to him.
Zimmer is a good coach.
That should be like the number 3 NFL commandment.
The reason the Vikings are in the playoffs.
I hope he has a great career, just not here.
Yeah. Bye. The Vikings. No. The Minnesota Vikings.
Is it the coach or the quarterback? Which one is it?
It's the coaching. The Minnesota Vikings and the defense. Okay, giving up points. I mean, I could go on and on. We have lost so many games within one score this season. It's not just Kirk Cousins, and that's why we're not in the playoffs.
That is that.
So it's not the quarterback.
And it's not because we lost to the Green Bay Packers and Lambeau last week.
Would you rather have Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins.
Oh, for Jared Goff, really?
Yes.
I might be taking Jared Goff. I might be taking Jared Goff. You have me swayed. Goff
or Kirk Cousins.
Jared Goff has been put in a interesting position going from the Los Angeles Rams, the Detroit Lions.
It's terrible.
I like guys who take injections. I like guys who take injections.
That's really cool.
Will you take the needle for me for the game? I know players that will take the needle to get in the game. Kirk ain't taking the needle.
Yeah.
Kirk said, "Hey man, I got my $50 million. I'm chilling."
What are you talking
Neither
about?
does Aaron Rodgers. Neither does a lot of players.
True.
But they're in the playoffs.
Right.
He just happened to miss his time earlier in the season.
Correct.
Aaron Rodgers, just terrible timing.
Kirk Cousins didn't have a bad season.
He cost him the playoffs.
No, he didn't.
He's up.
He wasn't vaccinated. It cost him the playoffs. He didn't play the last game. That could have put him in the playoffs.
Oh goodness.
Well, we could have just ran the ball. Dalvin Cook couldn't even run the ball that game either.
Well,
he makes the most money and he missed the game that cost him the playoffs.
Yes.
I don't blame that on Kirk Cousins.
If he wasn't the highest paid player, you would say, "Oh, okay, maybe he's the highest paid player and he missed the game."
That's
just saying.
No, why didn't we win previous games before that? That could have easily put us in the playoffs, like the Lions and the 49ers. Oh my God. Okay, well, why didn't the Lions in the playoffs if Jared Goff isn't good?
Fan.
You can like these guys. You can like a quarterback, and things don't work.
Exactly.
Right. Like Vic Fangio should be a defensive coordinator, not a head coach. Because the decisions that he made,
I can't believe Teddy tapped out for that many games.
To run, like, high school offenses look better than the Denver Broncos. Like, there's a lot of good coaches and players in the league that just don't work in certain situations. Like, I'll take Jared Goff on my team right now.
Okay, let's look at this.
If I'm feeling like, hey, I want to compete, I think Jared Goff is one of those quarterbacks you can compete with. Does he feel like he has a huge ceiling? No, that's why you go out and get a Matthew Stafford.
What was wrong with Teddy Bridgewater I know he had the concussion about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is he still in the protocol?
Well, he got destroyed on that, and they're like, you know what, Teddy? You're just not going to play the rest of the season.
He could have helped them. I thought he could have helped them get close to the playoffs at least, but I don't know.
Yes, that's the key word. We do have a sweet deal. Is it on? Well, yeah, well, do we need to talk about said sweet deal? All right, we'll keep with the Jared Goff talk as we figure out what
Jared Goff
to do.
week.
Jared Goff radio, and that's the thing, and the battle that we have. I'd love some information on that, by the way, if possible, when they call in. You know, the battle we have with NFL football is because, you know, I struggle with it myself. Is and I'm using that as including myself in the conversation, we get caught up on eliteness. And if you're not elite, you're not any good. Mm-hmm. Well, there are other ways to compete and win in the NFL because there's only a handful of elite guys. And we're looking at Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. You know, they kind of skew our view on things.
Right.
But, you know, Jared Goff, Teddy Bridgewater, guys that you can compete with.
Yeah.
And I put Jared Goff above even a Teddy Bridgewater right now. Because you can look and say, well, he had all the pieces in place. Yeah, and he took them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're looking for out of that type of quarterback. Yeah. And you know, I think
Kirk Cousins has two Pro Bowl receivers, and he can't get into the playoffs.
Should be that guy. He's paid to be that guy, and he hasn't gotten them to that point. So, does he have? By the way, we're gonna do some producing on air. Is there any information on this sweet deal? Is Big Dog still back there? Does he have a paper he can hand me, real quick, on this? So 2460610 is Equan's Auto Care
Be
hotline.
patient with us this week.
What's up, man? Hey, join us. Big Dog. Right there. How are you?
I am terrific. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Good morning to you, JJ.
Little Scott Silky, what's up?
Some outstanding Jared Goff talk.
Yes. You know, for some reason, every time Ned James is here, we get on Jared Goff. He is Jared Goff's #1 fan.
My cousin
hated him. In short supply these days.
I know. My cousin hates him. Yeah. He's a LA Rams fan, and he hates Jared Goff. And he thinks Stafford hangs the moon. In the playoffs, Stafford hangs the moon.
Exactly right.
Versus 5 wins in the playoffs, taking the needle for the team, Jared Goff, to win a playoff game.
We have to put that on pause. It is time for our sweet deal. And, of course, all our sweet deals go live at 9 a.m. on our website. Scott, who are we joined by today?
We are being joined by Mr. Roman Hampton, owner and manager at Tokyo Bangkok. And at 9 a.m., you can get 2 $25 gift certificates. That's $50 for just $25 at the station website.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Thank you for joining us on the opening drive.
Hi, good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So the sweet deal, it's going to be great. The certificate, the food. Let us know about when our listeners purchase this sweet deal, what kind of great food and service that they're going to get at Tokyo Bangkok.
Well, first of all, we're a locally owned and operated restaurant. We have Asian food, we have Japanese and Thai cuisine, as well as sushi. So my wife is the amazing cook. She's the chef, and her recipes are absolutely amazing. So you got to come over and try it. We're located by the movie theater on Jefferson and I-25, so it's very convenient for anybody to come by and grab some lunch.
Lunch, dinner, you name it, some great food, fantastic. What do you suggest for someone that may be trying you out for the first time? What is the go-to dish that they need to try?
You know, my personal most favorite dish is going to be a peanut curry. I can have it for lunch, dinner, and in between all day long.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Once again, Tokyo Bangkok, our sweet deal today. Head to our website, 9 a.m. Get you hooked up on all the goods. Thank you for joining us this morning, Ramon. Super excited for this deal. I know you got a lot of hungry people out there listening. Best of luck to you. Thank you for joining us, and I know your restaurant's going to be full soon with the sweet deals.
Oh, thank you very much. I hope to see you guys there.
Absolutely. I'm hungry now, and don't forget the sweet deal at 9 o'clock this morning. It goes live on our website, sportsanimалabq.com. We come back on the other side. Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com, joins us on the opening drive.
New Balance Albuquerque and VA Mortgage Loan. Indigo Mortgage, because nobody cares more about your mortgage loan.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green. And keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Hi, I'm Joe with Everguard Roofing and Solar, and I'm proud to say I'm standing next to our University of New Mexico Lobo football quarterback, Terry Wilson. We at Everguard Roofing and Solar are active in our community, and we love the Lobos.
What I love about Everguard Roofing and Solar is their commitment to excellence, and that's what I'm all about. That's why I support this company, because they care about the people of New Mexico.
A hole in your roof or a whole new roof?
Go Lobos!
Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of Pro V Sports.
You trusted your home or business security to a company with an armed response. They sold out to a national corporate giant, and you're stuck on the brink of less security. I'm Aaron Jones, owner of International Protective Service. IPS isn't for sale. I'm invested here, and I care about your home and business as if it's my own. Let the highly trained armed guards or 24-hour patrols of IPS protect what's yours, with faster response times to catch criminals and less associated costs. Call 897-2420 or go to ipsglobal.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
When looking for the best experience while buying an all-new Kia, Fiesta Kia offers some of the most knowledgeable and friendly Kia specialists in New Mexico. They'll help you find the Kia that will meet all your expectations. Kias have some of the most affordable vehicles for you to choose from, offering extensive options and style for the price. And with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, Kia won't be beat. Come be a part of the Fiesta family today, 7400 Lomas Boulevard Northeast, or start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up to
National championship game Monday night, round 2. Alabama and Georgia. Bowl season was a lot of fun, even with the questions and the concerns. We saw plenty of good football games being played. A lot of debate was thrown out there. Do these games matter? Do players care? The answer to that is yes. Some players decide to opt out. I know we counted, it was 29, which, yeah, it's a lot of players, and some of them are big-name players, but it's not 70, it's not 100. Kind of, it felt like for some people that this is epidemic. Yeah, some players are opting out of bowl games. Guess what? It's an opportunity for someone else to step up. And it led to some crazy games, but definitely entertaining football games. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Our quarterback, Ned James, A-Marie, JJ Buck with you. And we're joined by Jerry Palm at CBS Sports. Jerry, first off, the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl. How the heck was that?
Boy, that was nuts. It was a lot of fun, and my team won, so that's always good. Tennessee fans were not happy, but we had like 4 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, ended up going to overtime, a controversial play in overtime on Tennessee's 4th and goal from the 1, and Purdue ends up kicking a field goal and winning it. And Purdue, I really thought, we'd get crushed because Purdue was so shorthanded in that game. Their 2 NFL guys, David Bell and George Karlaftis, had opted out, but they were really short at receiver then because their second-best receiver didn't make the trip, their best corner didn't make the trip, their best defensive tackle didn't make the trip. So, it got down 21-7 early, and it was looking bad. But Purdue was able to come back and force a turnover and get a lead at halftime even. And next thing you know, it's game on, and it was crazy. The defenses were gassed by the end of the game.
It was absolutely crazy, but that's what you can get in bowl season, and still the enjoyment, the entertainment of these games, because you go from the Music City Bowl, then you can fast forward to the Rose Bowl, and a lot of those same questions with the teams, and then
Music City Bowl on steroids. It was a fantastic game. Same score, 48-45. But wow, what a fun game that was! And Jackson Smith, Jigba, has made himself a ton of money, although I don't think he's eligible for the draft this year. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's got another year at Ohio State. But man, what a performance by him! And Utah was terrific. Represented the Pac-12 well, even though they ended up getting shut out in bowl season again. It wasn't Utah's fault. They played really well. I think I would have liked to have seen how it would have gone if Rising hadn't got hurt, the Utah quarterback, because they basically had to concede 1 possession there. And in a game like that, you couldn't afford to. But what a fun game that was, too. That was a great Rose Bowl.
Yeah, Jerry, when you look at some of the narratives that just really took off, whether it's Kirk Herbstreit and his comments about this generation really love football, I think there's so much that changed so fast that it was overwhelming to some college football people.
You know what? That was just a stupid thing to say. And I don't know if he ever took it back or walked it back. I don't know, but that was just dumb. You look at all of these kids. I mean, you don't get to be as good as these guys are if you don't love football.
Amen.
But they also want to be able to play at the next level. You got coaches leaving their teams to get better jobs. Who says they don't love football? But a player leaves his team because he's got an eye on a better job, and trying to protect that. And it's just, I don't get that. All of a sudden, those guys don't love football. That's crazy. No, I don't begrudge guys for opting out. And then you get guys like Matt Corral, the Mississippi quarterback, who got hurt in his game, and but he could have opted out, chose not to. I'll respect that decision too. These guys get to have to now get to make decisions for themselves. Before the players didn't have the freedom to make a lot of decisions for themselves, and now they do. And I'm certainly not going to begrudge them exercising the right to make whatever decision they think is best for them.
Yes, Jerry, this is Ned James. We'll segue right into these players in the portal and these NIL deals and recruiting. Tell me what you think as far as recruiting and players transferring. How important will these NIL deals be and these universities using these resources, these vast resources, these $100 million guaranteed contract for coaches resources to entice players to come out of other universities or to come to their universities as a result of what they can now make through these NIL deals?
Well, I think we'll see some of that. There was a story about some lawyer in Virginia who was offering some endorsement deals, like 5 or 6 figure endorsement deals for defensive players who would transfer to Virginia. You can't do that.
Why?
Right? You can't.
Tell me why.
Can't, because that's actually still against the rules. So you can offer whatever you want to guys who are there, but you can't offer money to entice guys to come that aren't there. It's a fine line, but so the school can say, look, we can put together stuff for you. That's fine. You can't have private companies cannot go and do what that guy was doing, which is, I'll give you money to go to Virginia. So it's somewhat nebulous, like most NCAA stuff is, but that's something you still can't do. But yeah, I think that certainly the ability to get those kinds of deals is going to entice some players. I don't think there's any question about it. But the programs that are getting the big-time players now are also the programs that can probably get the big-time deals for these guys. So I don't think it's going to affect recruiting so much because it's just the same school. Look, Alabama's not getting all of the 5-star guys. They want to play too. So, I think it's not going to have a huge impact because the schools that can afford to put together the bigger deals are the schools that are already getting the better players. It's not like all of a sudden Indiana is going to start getting a bunch of 5-star recruits because they can throw a bunch of money together. That's not really how this is working.
Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, joining us here on the opening drive. All right, Jerry, let's get to the national championship game, round 2, Alabama, Georgia. What needs to change for Georgia to flip that script?
They have to find a way to get pressure on Bryce Young. They didn't do that in the last game. He had plenty of time to just stand there and throw, and that's just not going to work. I don't care how good your defense is. You can't cover those guys all day. So they're going to have to find a way to get pressure on the quarterback. Alabama didn't even run the ball that much in that game, which is I would have thought, take away the run and make him one-dimensional. But if you can't handle that one dimension, then you better make him two-dimensional. Because if Bryce Young just gets to stand back and throw again all day, Georgia's going to be chasing receivers all over the field and giving up points in droves, and their offense isn't good enough to overcome that. So they need to find a way to get pressure on Bryce Young. That's the single biggest thing they have to do differently.
So as we wrap it up, what's your feeling? What will that scoreboard say at the end of the night on Monday night?
Well, Alabama's going to win. I was stunned that Georgia's favored.
That was quick.
And they're I don't know, I got a text from my editor as that Georgia-Michigan game was winding up and said, I need your pick. Georgia 2.5. What? So, yeah, Georgia's favored. I don't like picking against Bama. Did you know this is only the third time in 13 years that Alabama's been an underdog in a game?
Wow.
Third time. And the second time was the SEC championship. So only one other time in 13 years has Alabama been an underdog in a game. I think my team's an underdog like 2 or 3 times a month.
And how about that? 9-win season for Purdue. Fantastic.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
We'll take it.
Well, it's always fun talking with you, Jerry. Appreciate your flexibility. This week we'll catch up next week. We'll have the gang back together, but enjoy the national championship game and enjoy the weekend.
All right, thanks.
It's Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, joining us on the opening drive this morning. You're watching us on ProView Networks and listening on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Watch Mexico's best.
burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
The money is out there.
Yeah.
But
spend a lot of money on
I don't think the NIL deals are flowing like you do, Ned.
Okay.
Because the amount of players in the transfer portal, not all those dudes are getting paid.
Right.
When you're talking about like dudes that you've never heard of entering the transfer portal,
Yeah.
that ain't because of the name, image, and likeness.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're not getting the money, but saying they're not getting the money and the money's not out there are two different things.
Yeah.
Because the money is there.
The money's there, but you just heard from Jerry Palm that you can't outwardly solicit that.
Right.
But we know that would still be a recruiting thing. Hey, come to Virginia. These are the things we could have available for you.
Yeah.
Get you paid by a lawyer. Yes, it's messy. There's still things to work out in college athletics, but it's about talent acquisition. You can sit here and scream all you want about back in my day, this and that. Well, you know what? Your teams have to be doing that if you want to compete these days. And when it comes to the transfer portal, we did get some information on it, talking about midseason acquisitions. So if a player, say we're talking basketball.
Yes.
This Lobo Man, the two available scholarships, Valdir Manuel, Jethro Musketian left the program. Well, you can sign someone, but if they had played in the fall, they could not play that season.
Right.
So you can't have a midseason acquisition that played Division I basketball somewhere else in the non-conference, join your team, and then play for you in the conference season.
But what's good about that is there are a group of players who haven't been playing this fall that you can go and search and look for and find
If
and
they're
bring
good
in.
enough.
If they're good enough.
You feel they are.
If guys have been recruiting, guys know AAU coaches, they all know each other. If there's guys out there, if there are dudes out there, you can go get them in school. You can play them, and that's the thing. It's become that. Who's your salary cap guy? Who's your head of personnel? Your chief personnel officer.
Well, it's still so much about relationships.
Keeping track of personnel in the conference or in the
a lot of time, basketball is going to have a different feel than college football. College football is dealing with what basketball was for the last few years. So many changes in the moment. 246-0610, Laquan's Auto Care Hotline. Wayne, you're on the opening drive. What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I think what needs to happen and what should happen is every school have a salary cap, and they all have the same amount of money that they use for these athletes, and it depends on how they manage the best players to get there, and it actually would bring a lot more parity and give some of the smaller D1 schools an option to be competitive, because you're right, like these other schools are going to have more incentives and more money, but if you give everybody a cap and they have to work within that cap, then it gives everybody a chance to be able to get the best recruits, and then just how they manage those funds the best way, and that would probably be the best option to pay these athletes without going over too much or giving an unfair advantage to the bigger schools. But that's just my take on this.
That's the thing, and there's still going to be just so much pushback on that, because then it's not college. Is it college athletics anymore? Because look how long it was amateur athletics.
It's going to be more like Major League Baseball. Alabama is the Yankees. We're the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right.
They're going to be able to pay more because they're in an area that has more money, like New York City, and we're in
there's a lot of
Minnesota with the Twins.
A lot of uncertainties right now. The game has changed. It will settle down once they figure things out. But I think name, image, and likeness is scarier to a lot of people than the actual reality of it. Because we were just talking about a student athlete, Ned, and you're like, "Oh, this player must be living it up." Like, nope, not really.
Yeah.
Because the deals all ain't the same.
Yes, those deals aren't the same. You're right.
It's easy to say, it's easy to get carried away with, because we all see the financial differences in college athletics.
Right.
The haves and the have-nots that are playing under the same banner.
Right.
But, for me, looking at this and just surveying the landscape, coming off a bowl season where there was a lot of talk about players opting out for their future, how crazy the transfer portal is, you still have that opportunity. While someone might leave your school, you can bring someone else in right away to compete. Is it going to be a challenge? Yeah. Well, it's no different than a challenge you had before trying to recruit these players when things were the way they were. So I think these coaches, they'll figure it out. These players will learn. The advisors, their friends and families will learn, because there's always going to be someone out there
But
that gives you
comes
the
down
bad
to one
advice.
thing. It still comes down to one thing. Is Notre Dame an academic institution, or is it a financial institution?
The answer to that question is yes, Ned. The answer is yes.
It's a bank.
It's a financial institution. It's
Yes.
an academic institution. It is the big business of college athletics. We'll talk the business of high school sports. Coming up next, Sebastian Well, ProView Networks, joins us because there's an opening at Cleveland High School for a head football coach. A very good job. What kind of attention is that going to get? Heath Rittenhouse joining the staff at the University of New Mexico. Of course, the high school basketball tournaments going on around the states. Got some semifinals tonight. That's Ned James, A. Marie, JJ Buck, Alden. What up, bro? ProView Networks and 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
I'm Taylor Bishotti with NFL Network Now.
Kylie Ottman bodies that ball. Ava Love, wide open bucket. She drips through the air and knocks it home. So
out of the corner, no. Nora with the rebound, quickly gets it ahead to Louise. In transition, the left-hand layup is good for Luciano Webster.
oh, Lyra Corona, she has a chance to change that story. She does.
Diaz now with the ball. It's a three-point lead. Montoya, she tries to equalize. Boom! Olivia Montoya with her second three ball of the second half.
There's an assist from half court on the inbounds pass.
That's a long shot. The laser shot. Holy cow. Defense closes down quickly. Garcia Romero for two.
With the rebound here from Benjamin.
Throw it up.
He's going to throw it up to his big fella, and his third dunk of the night. Hey, remember, Greg Brown doesn't have any timeouts. So they get it into Hill. Hill's going to have a chance to win it at the horn. Yeah! He does it. Hill bangs in the three, and the Hawks win it 60-59.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS Network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every.
Noel coming up.
A. Marie back there. That's our quarterback, Ned James. J.J. Buck, all in holding it down. I can't even tell who's back there now. See a couple faces, but the camera's set over there. There's a bunch of dudes at ProView Networks, dudes being dudes over there holding it down. You can watch us Comcast 2026 over there, streaming on the social media. You can follow us, facebook.com/theod in the AM. Our next guest, Big Dog, over at ProView Networks. When it comes to voices, it is Sebastian Noel. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good morning. How are you guys?
We are doing good, man. Appreciate your flexibility and joining us on this Friday. And it's actually really good timing because we have a ton of stuff to talk about, the news that's come out over the last few days, and then the semifinal games, the boys and girls in the Metro tournament. But let's start with that job opening at Cleveland High School as Heath Rittenhauer takes the position quarterbacks coach for the University of New Mexico with Danny Gonzalez. First, your thoughts on Rittenhauer getting that opportunity at UNM, and then how good an opening a job that is at Cleveland.
Well, yeah, first I do want to start there. I want to congratulate Coach Rittenhauer. I know this is something that he's talked about. You know, he's always dreamed about coaching in college, and I just think he's going to do so fantastic. I mean, beyond being a good football coach, he's just the way he builds relationships, the way he can get young men to just want to run through a wall for him, his intensity, his attention to details, his work ethic, off the charts. I mean, he's going to hit this out of the park. I have no doubt in my mind. But to the second part of your question, I mean, you know, who wants to be the guy to replace like a John Wooden, right? So while on the surface, this would look like a great job, right? Because you have all the facilities, all the athletes. I mean, but where is there to go but down there, you know? I mean, if you win there the first couple of years, it's going to be, you're winning with Heath's kids, right, with Coach Rittenhauer's kids. And if you lose, gosh forbid you lose a game, that's like stop the presses over there when they lose a regular season game. So that's going to be tough, you know. But I am going to speculate if you'd like me to speculate.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, here's the thing as well. Part of the success there has been Coach Rittenhauer's fantastic staff, right? And so they've all been there a long time. And so that's kind of endeared them on campus and to the administrators there. So I think the next guy there is going to be a guy that either inherits that entire staff. One, inherits that entire staff. And two, it's going to be a guy that entire staff wants to work for. So that eliminates almost all outside candidates, right, except one or two. So I think they're going to stay in-house.
Yeah, and I think that makes a ton of sense. If you are able to keep the rest of the staff together, have someone that's been there along for the ride, building those relationships, knows what to expect. But just also when you look at, you know, David Howes, Rio Rancho, he joined Danny Gonzalez's staff, Heath Rittenhauer, you know, what it says to the quality of those coaches and what they're able to do in the high school ranks here in New Mexico to get that opportunity in D1.
Yeah, I mean, they're the two winningest programs, right? And Coach Howes, just like Coach Rittenhauer, really, you know, they're good at building those relationships. And, you know, and Coach Rittenhauer played the position in college, and he played some indoor ball as well. So, you know, he's going to be coaching a position that he played. And he's going to be coaching a position that was always a strength of his teams, which is quarterback.
Sebastian Noel, ProView Networks, joining us here on the opening drive.
Yeah, Sebastian, Ned James. Just curious about, you know, philosophy of what the offense is going to be. Is Rittenhauer going to be able to bring some sort of offensive philosophy, or is he just coming strictly as a position guy? What have you heard?
You know, I mean, that's a great question, Ned. I mean, I think over time, right, he's going to be the quarterback coach, right? That's the official announcement. But and Coach, you know, he likes to throw the ball a little bit. You know, obviously you're limited or restricted by who you have at that position. But I think, you know, Coach Reinauer is a very creative offensive mind, and he's always valued that position and developed that position. So, and let's not beat around the bush. That position's been a problem at UNM. So, that I'm really looking forward to see what he can do there.
Sebastian, you are locked in with coaches all around the state. I know Danny Gonzalez coming back, hometown kid. He loves the state of New Mexico, and he has embraced high school football. And not just Danny, but now you having two former high school football coaches on the staff at UNM. Certain guys, if they get to a level where they're getting those Power 5 offers, yeah, you might go. But how do you feel this does for just recruiting, that next tier of athletes? Does this feel like UNM should have a lock on getting everyone else they want?
Are you talking about in-state guys now?
Yeah, like when we look at how Danny has said, 4 to 5 each class. Maybe there's a guy that earns himself that UCLA offer, but by the way, that player is coming back. But do you just feel this kind of is it icing on the cake for UNM?
Well, yeah, but I'm going to give Coach Gonzalez all the credit there, JJ, because when I talk to these athletes on my show, he has turned that page. It is, and we talked about this on a previous episode with a football player that I interviewed. He's really kind of changed that narrative where local kids actually they do want to stay. They all have a relationship with Coach Gonzalez, with the program. It's not toxic like it was before. So really kudos to Coach G on that. I think he's already kind of changed that narrative. And this just, like you said, adds the icing to the cake. But I really want to give Coach Gonzalez credit there because it's been a two-way communication streak with the coaches in town, and same way with the athletes. They feel welcome around the program, and that dream of, I want to be a Lobo, it's real again.
Sebastian Noel, ProView Network, is joining us here on the opening drive. Semifinals of the Albuquerque Metro Basketball Championship tonight, boys and girls. You got at West Mesa, it will feature number 1 Volcano Vista against number 4 Cleveland on the boys' side, followed by number 2 La Cueva versus number 3 Atrisco Heritage. On the girls' side, at Volcano Vista, got the top-seeded Hawks against Cleveland, number 2 La Cueva against Sandia. So here we are again, Sebastian, talking about these teams, but they're here for a reason. Let's start with the girls in that game of Volcano Vista and Cleveland. Can anyone at least give the Hawks something to think about right now?
I want to say yes. I want to make this a compelling segment, but I just don't see it, JJ. You've seen those girls. I mean, that's a machine that Coach Villarreal has over there right now. I really just don't see it. I mean, the other game now, La Cueva and Sandia. Now, I think that'll be the game to watch. Highly competitive. Those two teams always have good games.
You on the boys' side, La Cueva 8-1, Atrisco Heritage 10-1, of course. Interim head coach right now at Atrisco Heritage. What do you make of that matchup?
I know I actually had a Atrisco Heritage player shooting my show yesterday, and they're still a little upset about that first matchup against them. So they are looking forward to that. That's going to be a revenge game. I think that's going to come right down to the wire. Atrisco Heritage has such great guard play. Their strength really is all 5 guys on the floor. They can shoot it. They can beat you, right? Not a lot of teams can say that everyone on the floor is a threat. So that's going to be a fantastic matchup there. And, of course, La Cueva, they have their star in Exodus Ayers, whereas Atrisco, it's more team-oriented. It's not one guy. La Cueva, who's going to put the dagger in your heart, and it's Exodus Ayers.
So how do you see teams try to defend La Cueva when you have such a standout player? What are they trying to throw at Ayers to get him off his game?
I'm surprised not more teams haven't just absolutely just packed it in and tried to keep them out of the paint. Maybe throw some junk defenses at them, triangle 2, box and 1. Make them beat you from the outside. There's nights where they're going to do it, but there's nights where they're not going to do it. So, I think your best shot at Exodus and that team is to try to make them beat you for the perimeter. But with that being said, they're so well coached. Coach Joyce, obviously, he's coached in college. So, I'm pretty sure he's going to be ready for my rinky-dink defensive philosophies here.
And the number 1 versus number 4 game, of course, the undefeated Hawks boys against the Cleveland Storm. What should we expect from that matchup?
Maybe a closer game than the last time those two teams met. They met already, and it was an 11-point win. I know I talked to Coach Jimenez, and he didn't think his Cleveland team played as well as they could have that game, and he thought Volcano Vista played incredibly well. The thing with Cleveland is they're really young, guys. So, they're going to they're going to progress, and I think they'll be fine. I think they could still be a Final Four team by the end of the season. Volcano's clicking on all cylinders, so the challenge for Greg Brown there is how does he get that team not to peak early? How does he get that team to continue to improve throughout the season and stay sharp because they're playing so well right now?
All right, Sebastian, before I let you go, is there anything else you need to throw out? Any shout-outs to teams around the state? What do you got?
I did want to mention, since we were talking some girls basketball, Sandia has some fantastic freshmen, and one of them is Hope Giddings. She got her first offer yesterday from Coach J.R. Giddings, no relation, spelled differently and everything. But so Coach J.R. up at Northern put the offer out for Hope. So I know that's exciting for a young student athlete, especially a freshman. But those, Sandia is going to be the team that can challenge Volcano in the upcoming years. I don't think it's this year, but they're a fantastic young group, and just wanted to shout out Hope for having her first offer there.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The last few years, girls basketball has really picked it back up in the state. It's always been fun and entertaining, but the talent level, you can definitely see a bit of a difference the last few years.
Yeah, and then the fact that some of them are staying is fantastic, obviously with Coach Bradbury there. And, yeah, I know you've gotten to cover a ton of that. And, when that half-court shot hits ESPN, right, that's when you know it's big. And I think that kind of excited the whole state on the girls' side, right? Everyone was excited, not just the Volcano Vista team that was on the court for that moment.
All right, Sebastian, always appreciate the time, man, as we watch you on ProView Networks. We'll catch up next week. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, be good, guys.
That is Sebastian Well, ProView Networks joining us. Got some great Metro Basketball Championship semifinals around town. You want to watch the boys? It's at West Mesa tonight. The girls at Volcano Vista, and, of course, the other tournaments going on around the state. You can catch us on ProView Networks, and you're listening to us on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
Every kid who comes through those doors, because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
I'm Ben Lucero, president and owner of Indigo Mortgage. We are a locally owned and operated mortgage company right here in New Mexico. This means your loan officers and processors are right here to serve you. Our mortgage divisions include residential, commercial, construction, reverse mortgages, and VA mortgage loan. Indigo Mortgage, because nobody cares more about your mortgage loan.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
For your surprisingly great rates, Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
I prefer to do stuff online. I can find things much.
Playoff spots. The Saints clinch with the win and 49ers loss. 49ers clinch with the win. Our Saints loss. Race for the NFC West title. The Cardinals clinch with the win and Rams loss. The Rams clinch the NFC West with the win. Our Cardinals loss. And the race for the final spot in the AFC. The Ravens can get in. The win and Colts loss and Chargers loss and Dolphins loss. Colts with win, or Steelers loss and Chargers loss and Dolphins win. All we know, too, Sunday Night Football, win and in-game.
Yeah.
Between the LA Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders. And there's a scenario where both could get in with a tie, but that's not going to happen. So how do you play that out? You just, like, all right, we're just going to take knees.
Yeah. And let's
60 minutes. Like,
let's let both teams in the same division get into the playoffs. What do you say we just make a deal here?
And that ain't going to happen, especially
no, it should be a good game.
Yeah, those are two teams that it's not just a win and in situation. They want to win and feel good about going into the postseason. They don't necessarily have, that level like you see in Green Bay. We're like, all right, we can get by this week. It's nice of Aaron Rodgers to tell everyone else to play.
Yeah.
But I want to see Randall Cobb back. Oh, Bakhtiari, get on the field. And they're like, well, maybe I want to rest one more week and get ready for the playoffs. Aaron.
Now, my question is, who is it a bigger game for? Is it a bigger game for the Raiders or for the Chargers? Now, because Herbert, before I finish, Herbert has already got a gold jacket. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, apparently, to some people, even though he's just a second-year player. If he's not in the game, does this take him down a notch?
For you.
Or what?
And who's if you all agree with me. It's a bigger game for the Chargers. Because they have a head coach. They have Justin Herbert. The Raiders are just happy to be here. It's an unbelievable story that they are 9-7 and playing for a playoff spot. That is unbelievable.
Without a head coach.
The mess they went through with John Gruden.
Yeah.
And
the accident.
The Henry Ruggs killing someone in an
awful
vehicle, which is just tragic. But they got another dude that get arrested for DUI, and he might actually play this weekend, which that's a bad move, Raiders. But it's the actual football league, and ain't nothing
business
about a bad move if you're playing to win, because no one cares. Like, Raider fans don't care if they put Henry Ruggs back on the field, but they win that game and go to the playoffs. That's the reality of sport. We get that. But to me, it's a bigger game for the Chargers because of Justin Herbert, because of that head coach. What do you think, Amory?
Between the Chargers and Raiders, I think that they should tie. No, I'm just kidding.
Tie and both get in.
Just kidding.
Everyone gets a playoff spot.
I think it's pretty equal, though. I mean, to overcome, everything the Raiders said, just like you guys said. And the Chargers have been a weird team. We've talked about it all through the season. Are they the real deal? And I think this is going to show, because we've been on and off about the Chargers all throughout
they weren't
the show
quite
this season.
As good as
we thought they were going to be.
The football world expected them to be this season.
Correct. And on the OD, we have been talking about them on and off. Who are they? Are they the real deal?
Because they can absolutely scare you as much as anyone if Herbert is on offensively. with Eckler, Keenan Allen, Michael.
On paper, they should
but
win.
They haven't played that way consistently.
Right, and these young quarterbacks. I just think he's been the most overhyped quarterback. And he's a talented player.
Gosh.
But he's the most
He's no
overhyped.
Jared Goff.
He's
young
no Jared
player.
Goff.
Well, let the guy win a playoff game first before you start putting a gold jacket on the guy and saying he's Hall of Fame material. Justin Herbert has not played in a playoff game yet. He's got
Either Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow is developing. He's like I said. I mean, I've changed my mind on Joe Burrow because he and Kyler Murray are the two guys that I just really didn't have.
Oh, you just
a really strong opinion about. But now, yeah, I do have that short man complex issue thing going. But, they're developing still. They're still developing. You don't hear people talk about them the same way they do this Justin Herbert. And I've always said these young
people
guys
talk
you gotta
about
let them
Kyler Murray
develop.
as an MVP candidate, so they're absolutely talking about him as a different category.
Yeah,
than
not
Justin.
me though.
Not you. We know
All
it's not
those
you,
people,
Ned.
but not
we
me.
know it's not you. And I think that's what's
anti-Kyler Murray Ned over here.
Yeah,
Not Ned Bias Edwards.
Yeah.
That's his middle name.
And what, as rough as it's been, it feels like the last month for Arizona. They're still playing there to win the NFC West. Like that's a team that you can get in the postseason even without Nuke Hopkins. Because Kyler
And
Murray's,
those Cowboys are starting to get COVID.
Yeah,
as of
maybe-
yesterday.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, losing to the Arizona Cardinals losing to the Dallas Cowboys, and now those Cowboy fans must be happy.
So Mike
this week.
Parsons goes on.
But their highest paid player is not on the COVID list. Their quarterback, via the Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Not like.
Oh my
He's
God,
salty this morning.
I don't know. I don't know why.
I'm not a
salty.
I don't like those anti-vaxxer guys who play victim. I don't like.
Well, he's not playing victim.
I like.
Cousins didn't play
He's
victim.
not playing
I-
victim.
and you're right.
He's
I
not
agree.
being Aaron
He's not. He's
Rodgers
not being Aaron
trying
Rodgers.
to,
You're
like-
right.
He's not
You're
a
right.
babe, no.
But I like guys like Mike Zimmer. I like Mike Zimmer.
Why
That's
do you?
fine.
That
And I
doesn't
think-
mean you can't.
I like Mike Zimmer.
You don't have to
but I wanna-
dislike Kirk.
I do have to. Here's why I have to dislike Kirk if I like Mike Zimmer. Because I know Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer would have cut Kirk Cousins for not being vaccinated. Because he knows how important it is for those quarterbacks.
And he should have.
to be available.
Then why didn't he
Because
also?
the owner says, I'm not giving a guy $50 million to go sit at home. And his guaranteed money, he couldn't get rid of him. Or else I believe the Mike Zimmer I know would have gotten rid of him. And I
Okay.
don't blame him.
Well, the Mike
Okay.
Zimmer can hook up with Vic Fangio and they can find new jobs in the offseason.
Yeah, and
You
then
don't
he-
like my Vic Fangio. You don't like my Mike Zimmer. You don't
Wait,
like all
wait.
my
I
defensive guys.
appreciate what Mike Zimmer has done, and I like him as a defensive coordinator. I don't want him as a head coach anymore. And Adam Thielen, Harrison Smith, Dalvin Cook, I think we know those names. They are among the list that also aren't vaccinated, but Kirk Cousins gets the most crap.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
Right?
He gets them. It's not even that to me. He's not good enough to be, and he makes more money than everybody else.
Well,
for him to not be vaccinated, that's
he
how I
actually
look at it.
doesn't make as much money
Well,
as
you
people
can even
think he
could
does.
still miss
He's
time.
got the most guaranteed
Even if he
money.
was vaccinated, he could still miss time. As
You-
frustrating
everyone-
as it is.
Right.
If
you're
you
right.
can get COVID,
You're right.
whether you have a vaccine
but
or not.
The way the rules,
It will help
the
you
way
not
the
get
rules
sick.
changed along the way, as the rules changed,
Yeah.
the if he had been vaccinated, the less likely he would have been symptomatic, and therefore was put into this virus protocol
but
and was
this-
able to
I
had
can't
this-
get there.
this-
I can't
I'm
get
not
there
frustrated.
either
I'm not an
because the
anti-
Vikings could have cleaned this up before going to Lambeau last week. We
But
had plenty of
there's that, but
chances.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
I'm not.
I'm not. Like I got my vaccine, but I still got sick for 2 weeks.
Right.
And that has nothing to like. I could have missed 2 NFL games
Right.
if I was a quarterback. So this is what's frustrating about it is, it's happening, and people are getting put on the COVID
I
list.
feel really bad if it's going to
And we
really ruin
don't-
these playoffs for
We
fans.
don't know how each person is affected, and that is the hardest thing in this
But we
conversation.
do know how it affects guys who aren't vaccinated.
Because he could have been vaccinated and got sick for 2 weeks.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
But he wouldn't have got as sick.
You don't-
And that makes a difference.
I was vaccinated.
We don't
down 2
even.
weeks.
By the way, we
Yeah,
don't.
I
We don't
understand
even
that.
know if he was.
So just imagine if
he
he
didn't
was
have.
vaccinated.
He didn't have
How
I would
symptoms.
have been in the hospital.
Right. So that's my point.
So we
And
can't.
so
we
these
got to
guys-
stop with these overarching arguments about the vaccine and just assuming that if you're vaccinated, you're going to be back in 5 days.
Also, people get
No,
COVID and
I
they don't
understand.
even feel anything. He might not even have symptoms. It's protocol.
It's very rare if you are not vaccinated that you have very few symptoms if you get the virus. And so I'm just my thing with the players not getting vaccinated is they take injections for all sorts of. If you can convince
that
me,
is true.
if you can convince me that Dr. Kirk Cousins hasn't been injected to play a game, to do his job before this, then I would say okay. But these guys are getting injected with all kinds of pain, you name it, to be able to go out and do their job on a weekly basis. Because you only play 16 weeks.
So just because you don't think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, are you okay with Aaron Rodgers not getting vaccinated and him winning?
I'm not okay with Aaron Rodgers not getting vaccinated.
And also, Aaron Rodgers is allergic to something in the vaccine.
Well, so
I'm
he
just
says.
okay. Well, in general, some people are not sure about it, but
and I get where Kirk is going from. He's definitely anti-vax. Even though Aaron Rodgers is not getting vaccinated, he says he's not anti.
Because
Aaron Rodgers is on another planet.
Because you look at the timing of all this, and it is incredibly frustrating because there is not one way to look at this. Like, does it help? Are there benefits to the vaccine? Absolutely. Some people think the people that have kind of gone off the deep end are like, well, if I get the vaccine, I should be immune to everything. That's not the case, man. It's never been the case with vaccines. Like, just chill out. But this stuff hits everyone so differently, and that's why it's wild. Like, the CDC guidelines have changed.
Yeah.
And now in 2022, it's kind of like YOLO anyway.
I understand that.
With all this stuff.
But specifically for what you do for 17 weeks or 16 weeks of work that you have, and you get a tremendous amount of salary of the salary cap of your particular team.
So does Dalvin Cook, though. Dalvin Cook takes up a huge amount of our cap.
I think it's incumbent on the quarterback who is making the most money on that particular squad to be more responsible when it comes to his health and safety and being available to his team. I just see it that Kirk Cousins, in that regard, kind of let down his teammates and was derelict in his duty to perform because he resisted for some. The reason he gave was absurd, in my opinion, but yet and still, it cost them a playoff game, and I knew this would happen, and I knew the quarterback would be the issue. Even though I don't think the quarterback gets way too much credit when you win.
It didn't come down to the Green Bay game.
But he's an example of it.
We needed a miracle, and besides Kirk Cousins getting vaccinated, the Minnesota Vikings to get in the playoffs by the Lambeau game.
Besides that, needed a miracle.
A miracle
to get the job done. This is here. It's affecting the games. It's going to affect the playoff game, but they're just. And here's the thing, everyone out there, there's not one specific way. Yes, the guidelines have changed, but even so, you can get that shot. And by the way, I'm getting a booster shot today.
Yeah.
So I'm not out here going crazy, but it's just so different that it's really it's impossible in this conversation to have like, boom, this is the hardline stance on it, because you can have vaccinated players still get sick, miss a game or two, or they're asymptomatic. Just don't know. And it's all over the
place. It's like that with everything. With pain, some guys can take pain, some guys can't take pain. But it's your responsibility to make yourself available to your team in every way you can. And this was one of those ways, in my opinion. And I think Kirk Cousins, more than any other position, because of the way he affects the team salary-wise.
Well, it's going to be
I thought it was bigger.
To your point, when we talk about the quarterback position, it's going to be highly publicized when an unvaccinated quarterback misses time.
As opposed to the right guard.
You got to deal with that hit. Right. And it's not like Kirk Cousins was necessarily playing the Cole Beasley role. He knew what he was getting himself into.
Yeah, and he was much like Cole Beasley. He was adamant about the fact that he should not have to take it for religious purposes.
But that's fine, but at least I don't know to this point if he was pulling the Cole Beasley stunts around everywhere else. He made his choice, put it out there, whether you think it's right or wrong, his reasoning. The thing you look at is at least was he going through what he had to do as an unvaxxed player. The mask, all that stuff. And that's all you can do with the Kirk Cousins situation.
Right.
And is it just offense, or does defense win games as well? Because the Vikings are ranked 31st in defense this year. I'm going to defend them to the death. The Minnesota Vikings are not in the playoffs, not because of Kirk Cousins.
Well, that's why you need him even more.
Right.
When you have those deficiencies.
That's right. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
So does Dalvin Cook.
They didn't pay the guys on defense.
It doesn't matter.
So does Dalvin Cook, who isn't vaccinated.
We know, but you're not winning a game with Sean Mannion, even if you hand Dalvin Cook
the ball
we knew
57
that.
times.
It doesn't matter. It was
Sean Manning's a whole nother subject that I don't
And that's the thing.
That's why
like
they
Jonathan
pay
Taylor, Dalvin Cook, you can
Kirk's
sit there.
paid the most.
You can sit there and say, hand the ball off 60 times to these guys. If you don't have your starting quarterback, you're losing that game. That's A. Marie, Ned James, JJ Buck, watching on ProView Networks. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Can you beat the pros?
Packers over
Cardinals. They're not good.
were waiting for me to pick up. The Shop by Payments option was perfect for me. I got online, clicked on Shop by Payments, put in my down payment and monthly budget, and the guessing was done. From laptop, I was able to nail down the bike I wanted, add a few customizations, and get an estimate on my trade-in.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
Hi, I'm Joe with Everguard Roofing and Solar, and I'm proud to say I'm standing next to our University of New Mexico Lobo football quarterback, Terry Wilson. We at Everguard Roofing and Solar are active in our community, and we love the Lobos.
What I love about Everguard Roofing and Solar is their commitment to excellence, and that's what I'm all about. That's why I support this company, because they care about the people of New Mexico.
A hole in your roof or a whole new roof?
Go Lobos.
Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50.
Sunday Night Football, you can hear it right here on the Sports Animal, your home for the Las Vegas Raiders, and it is the Raiders against the Los Angeles Chargers. It's a pair of 9 and 7 teams. A winner-take-all football game to get to the NFL playoffs. It's going to be an interesting weekend because, yes, you still have COVID in there. Seeing some Dallas Cowboy players hit the COVID reserve list, including Micah Parsons, who could be not just Rookie of the Year, but in contention for Defensive Player of the Season. And something's going to affect the NFL playoffs. It's going to happen. And we arguing about quarterbacks and players, the best ability is availability. And right now, if you are vaccinated in the NFL and you're not symptomatic, you have a quicker path getting back to the football field. So that is important in this conversation when we're talking about player availability. But sometimes you just don't know. Yeah. And just take a step back and especially look at the world of college basketball, the amount of games that we're seeing postponed left and right. That's not going to happen in the NFL. There might be an ugly playoff game or two because of a situation that comes up, but it's about adjusting in the best you can. If we're talking about the Mountain West, we saw the first big adjustment this week with the postponements of some games. We got Colorado State, San Diego State on deck this Saturday. They weren't scheduled to play, but with postponements throughout the week, they're able to put that game together, and so you're going to be seeing more of that in the college athletics world. Not ideal because you still have to travel and that's a big piece to it. It's easy to say from the outside looking in, it's, just schedule these games, but you got to get the team there. You got to find a place to stay. You got to get back. But I think we are going to see the Mountain West and then leagues across the board adjust, be a little bit more flexible. I think at least like 3-day windows. 3-4 days out, saying, all right, these games are postponed. You're going to have to play this conference matchup. It's going to be frustrating to coaches because we know they're creatures of habit and need to have everything lined up, the time. But to play some of these conference games, that's the way it's going to be because there's not an extra week. There's not a buffer zone this season to deal with the postponement.
I found it interesting listening to Coach Pitino when he spoke about how the pandemic can be used as gamesmanship, he said, as far as teams using that to get out of certain games or to play certain games. And so, it's fascinating. It's just, that's why I always say, you just don't know who's going to win from week to week. It doesn't matter because we're in this pandemic. But, I am a little harsher on the unvaccinated. That's just the way I'm going to be until we get through it because everybody else is sacrificing getting vaccinated so we don't have the problem of the pandemic. And those that choose not to, well, my sympathy only can go so far with people
that decision if
in the virus.
You're an athlete and
it's your decision.
That's part of the team.
Yeah.
2460610 is the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. That's Ned James, Amory, JJ Buck with you on the opening drive. Bill, you're on the OD. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, guys. And lady, how are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I just wanted to make a comment about, I understand, vaccinations and everything will be perfect if every human was vaccinated, this pandemic's not going to go away. COVID will be here just like the flu forever. So if we want to sit here and say, okay, unvaccinated, we should just totally crap on them whenever they get it. But if they get vaccinated and now they have COVID, it's okay though. It's no big deal. I don't see the in between. I understand people are supporting vaccines or not supporting vaccines, whatever, but you can't sit here and say that you need to get on board and we'll get past this because we're not going to get past it. We're just going to have to quit testing and say it's flu or it's COVID. I mean, there's no way to just get rid of it. It's not going to magically disappear.
And that's
thank you, Bill.
Part of it.
I disagree vehemently with him, but that's okay. I mean, we're just. I mean, my idea. Because he believes that it's the flu or the cold when it's not the flu or the cold, doesn't necessarily make it right. It's not the flu and it's not the cold. And we've been through pandemics in history, and there is a reason why we don't have the diseases that we had in the past. Now, there's this thing called science and medicine that helps us advance as a society.
I stayed at a Marriott. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express. So I'm not, with my medical advice. I'm not going to give anyone medical advice. I think we all know the basics of science and how vaccines work. Even if, you want to play that game like, oh, you can still get COVID if you get the vaccine. Well, yes, it's a part. It's suppressing it. I think that's where we're trying to get to the point where we suppress it to where it's not overwhelming, to where it's not debilitating for some people.
Right.
So that's hopefully we can all be on the same page with that. Suppressing it. I had it. It sucked. It put me on my backside for 2 weeks. Thankfully, I didn't need to be hospitalized. I didn't have any symptoms. Like, they were bad symptoms. But I think that's just it's so uncertain and worrying about this is because you can, I had COVID, and it's two completely different experiences.
Right.
Like, and so that's the scary thing about this, because it's knocking in the backside. People have lost their lives at a very high rate because of this. But it's when we have the conversation about kind of responsibilities in sport and athletics, it's tough for some people to separate that from everything we've dealt with for the last year and a half when it comes to policies and mandates and getting caught up in all that.
Absolutely.
But you're going to have a different responsibility when you're a part of a team.
Absolutely. And you're getting paid. And I've seen guys, before we had the pandemic, have to get injected in order to help their team out, in order to play, and you have a choice. You don't have to get injected. You can say, hey, I'm going to be out 6 to 8 weeks or what have you, and I'm going to wait till this injury subsides. And so I understand the nature of the sport and, what you have to sacrifice and compromise. And everybody's entitled to, their own ideas and decisions when it comes to their body. I totally am
I think
okay
a
with
lot of that too is,
but
Ned, you're talking about a culture of sport, of playing through pain, of seeing your teammates take that needle from college to professional sports,
right?
Getting that pain injection to go in versus a vaccine that a lot of people can see a meme, can jump on social media and see something different and run with it and go, well, this is all conspiracy and they're just doing this. So yes, they're injecting themselves with their body, but that's a culture of pain management in professional sports. So I understand the frustration from your standpoint, but I also can see why I don't agree with some of these dudes, but why they would go off on this route of being, I'm not going to be about the vaccine versus, you inject me with some painkiller for a half and I'll get back in there.
Right. And, the whole vaccine idea and the whole science and medical and the doctor's opinions on how we should get through or as a team, our team being our community, I kind of agree with. And so I just go by what doctors and science are saying, how we should not buy someone saying that, hey, it doesn't make a difference. It's just no different than the cold or the flu, when it's not necessarily the same as the cold and the flu. So, but I mean, that's just me.
But we still have ways to suppress the flu, hence flu shots, hence COVID shots. So we're moving forward. And this is the thing when we talk about this in sports is it blows up because you have opinions on each side or the other.
Right.
And I'm about suppressing this, understanding that it probably is never going to go away completely. But you made the point. There are things that we're not dealing with anymore because
the bubonic plague hasn't gone away yet.
Vaccines, so they have been beneficial to us
some labs somewhere
as a society. But
and it changes every day what we think about it, what people think about it.
And
the CDC or the protocols or the NFL or the NBA or the whatever.
CDC is just kind of like,
well, it's
YOLO.
silly. They'll change their mind every day to, I don't know, be people pleasers. Who knows? And then it makes no sense. Test the not vaccinated players, but then don't test the vaccinated players when you can still get none of it makes sense. None of it. So I agree with you, JJ. Let's suppress it. I don't know.
That's what you're trying to do.
It's just all frustrating on whatever side you're on.
But the
and it's sad that there's sides.
Yeah. Well, the conversation, that's why it kind of it blows up like that because there's not like you can be. I think you should get vaccinated if you have the ability to. Like I said, I'm getting my booster shot today, and I'm someone that had COVID.
Yeah.
Like it was not fun. Like I don't want to just go through this. Oh, you should get it to do the whole, herd immunity thing. Because I'm not an epidemiologist. I don't know about that, but just for me, the conversation it has impact when we talk sports, and you're gonna have frustration. You're gonna have a Ned James that is just like, I can't believe an athlete wouldn't do that. But then you're gonna have the other people going, well, are we talking about?
But there's a reason why,
or him being an athlete. So it's always gonna get crazy. We just know it's gonna have an impact on the playoffs, impact on sports still this season as things change and we navigate it. That is Ned James, Amory, JJ Buck. You catch us on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Science with CBS.
The difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. There at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green. And keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
Hi, I'm Joe with Everguard Roofing and Solar, and I'm proud to say I'm standing next to our University of New Mexico Lobo football quarterback, Terry Wilson. We at Everguard Roofing and Solar are active in our community, and we love the Lobos.
What I love about Everguard Roofing and Solar is their commitment to excellence, and that's what I'm all about. That's why I support this company, because they care about the people of New Mexico.
A whole
Sydney Sports Animal, thank you for joining us this morning. Big thank you to everyone throughout the week that stepped up, helped out, from Stigler, Ryan Tamari. You can hear him, by the way, tomorrow, first and 5:05, 8 to 11 a.m. Michael Carlisle, of course, Ned James, one constant, A. Marie.
We did it.
Yes, Marie.
We will hoe on Monday.
Yes, so it is Friday.
But we want to reserve our voices.
I would not be able to host
unless Ned wants to hoe by himself.
Oh, no.
Well, but We know you can hoe, Ned, but we'll wait for Jeff,
We'll get the weekend.
and hopefully he can ram it and
well,
hoe
the
it.
week.
Yeah.
started
We'll
off
have.
right.
Yes, that'll be
It's
so
gonna be a little
good.
different. I appreciate that, like, because it would
Yeah.
have just been the song would have played. I know the listeners would have
They
hoed.
want it,
They want the hoe.
but
We know.
we got to reserve our voices.
But the Deca that Rome's gonna drop when he starts his show. We just need to power through it. So just
we did it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not even that was a struggle this week. It was awesome. It was just different.
Oh yeah, it's different. No, much appreciated.
So not to act like we.
The struggle was mine.
No,
this
no,
week,
it
not
was
your
just a
guys'.
little different. You know, people get out of I like it. A little shake up, little different opinions, little different shows, personalities. It was fun.
So it's the whole point. That's what makes radio great. This station, the fact that we have local morning and afternoons, embrace that, because not a lot of cities are still doing that, y'all.
Yes.
So thank you.
Embrace the real.
For allowing us to have local content for you in the mornings and afternoon. Big weekend on deck. Global men's basketball tomorrow against Utah State. Women back in action Sunday. Pack the pit game against San Diego State at 2 o'clock. And by the way, our boys out there, Fred, read the schedule. It's right here. He was so salty that there was a Lobo basketball game last night. He's like, what? We're not here for 3 hours. It's on the schedule, Fred. Look at it. It's right here. Come on, man.
Come on, you got to get into Lobo.
Professional,
You
bro.
got to get into Lobo women's hoops too, man. I'm kind of a
They get a
fan now.
full 3 hours, 2 men on Fred and Van this afternoon, but the schedule's right here. It says 6:30, Lady Lobos basketball at Utah State. Don't get mad at my man Mike Vitale for that.
Hey, someone just called. They didn't want to get on air. They just want to say you do a great job commentating the games.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And he didn't want to get on air. He doesn't like to be on air.
Okay.
And they appreciate the station for supporting New Mexico sports, especially
I was
the Lobos.
not gonna lie, I was a little nervous yesterday, being by myself in Logan, Utah.
Logan,
with the
beautiful place,
with
those
the
pictures. Nice
the
pictures.
voice, after. So that's what happened, y'all. I straight up just lost my voice after the UNLV game on Monday. Couldn't talk. So shout out to Jared. Thank you, boss, for allowing me to take those.
What remedy did you use to get your voice back? Did you
I just didn't talk.
Lemon and honey, or
and had some tea.
Tea. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Did try to gargle with like aspirin
Water
or
and
something
rest,
'cause
man.
of inflammation. So you're just trying to get that back.
Yeah. Inflammation is real.
It's just.
Where do you get old, JJ? Inflammation's everywhere then.
Tell me about it. My knees are creaky.
I know you used to think being an athlete growing up, but it just
Oh,
makes our bodies worse now
you'd
as
have
you get
thought.
older.
Not as good as I once was. But
it's in CTE now. I got CTE.
You can't say that, Ned. Be careful, man. No.
Oh no. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be jinxing myself like
Jeez
that.
Louise.
No.
Anyway, but
Dude,
going
some
into
of the listeners may think I got CTE. The way I talk.
Well, true. I've come around a little bit. I'm not as vehement on Jared Goff being a bad quarterback. We didn't even get into Baker Mayfield and his tweet last night, calling out the Cleveland media
My man Baker, man.
again. He's just his time is up. I think Baker Mayfield is
To Hollywood. I told him, quit doing. You don't need to do. You make enough money already. You don't need to do commercials.
But
and
it's
all
just
that
a progressive commercial. It's not that Hollywood.
You don't need to do that. When you're the quarterback in the NFL, you don't need to be Hollywood. You need to be the quarterback.
You need money, Ned.
No, you don't.
Dak Prescott needs his sleep. Hence why he does sleep commercials.
These guys.
I don't see that is the one thing I just can't really buy into is this Baker Mayfield to Hollywood. He does a progressive commercial, for gosh sake.
He does several commercials.
What else?
They're
different progressive commercials.
I mean, why does he need to do commercials? Well, I mean,
why
are we
not?
better off as a society?
Sign me
because
up.
they can-
I'm available for commercials if anyone would like. I'll take some free car washes.
Not the starting quarterback. You're trying to get to the playoffs. Win a couple Super Bowls, then do some commercials.
That's the thing. You need to pack your bank account.
JJ, let's get Choose on board for us. I'm going to hit them up today when I go there. So,
Let them know they need.
all right, we're trying to get sponsorship. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm on it. That's my goal today.
We're available for sponsorship. I'm not
Any
worried about
sponsors
the
out
playoffs.
there?
I want-
Any
I want the
sponsors
commercials.
out
I want the
there?
endorsements. I want to pack my bank account, Ned.
You want to get your NIL deals.
I don't need the banners yet. I need my NIL deals.
I hear you. Everybody deserves a championship bank account.
Yes, sir.
Everyone. You don't need.
Yeah, but Baker Mayfield is one of those that like he's the Kirk Cousins, he's the Jared Goff, like guys that I think are good enough to compete, but they're gonna leave franchises always thinking there's something better.
But I mean, he went to the playoffs and won a playoff game that's what you're shooting. You're shooting to get back to that and back to not another progressive commercial. You're shooting to win.
Really, how do we judge Baker this season? Like, because he tried, he did what you want to see, Ned.
Yeah.
He took that needle. He played with the sling on his arm.
That's why I like him.
But that,
there's
still
Baker
only
Mayfield
so much he can do.
Yeah.
To that point, and sometimes it's like the relationship comes to an end, and it feels like that's where it's going in Cleveland. But they have that 5th-year option, where you're getting like $20 million, $23 million, but it's a manageable contract for a quarterback that you've won with.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Relationships can always change.
He's still young though. He's still a young player. He's developing. How much growth can there be? Is there anybody better than him that you could pay that kind of money to? That's left to be determined. Teddy Bridgewater. Do you bring Teddy Bridgewater to Cleveland?
No. Baker Mayfield is better than Teddy Bridgewater. Steady Teddy at this point is a backup quarterback, and if you keep bringing him into bridge gap, that's all you're going to get.
I just wish you would have finished the season.
He got smacked around, man.
Also, that injury in Minnesota, that poor guy.
And he came back from that.
He did. I know, but it's that just changed. Ugh, I felt so bad. Good guy.
Ned, thank you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Coming in on a Friday morning. Amory, the one constant this week. Much appreciated.
Come see me at Tractor Brewing at Wells Park tonight, 8 p.m. Comedy competition.
Where's that at?
Come support.
It's right down the street.
On 4th and whatever.
Just leave the studio, go to north on 4th Street.
Awesome week, guys.
Tractor Brewing is right there. See Amory tonight. Big thank you to Provy Networks. All in, my dude. Great to see you. Appreciate you this morning. We got the Jim Rome show coming up next. Colin Cowherd at 1. Fred and Van, 3-hour show this afternoon, 4 to 7. And stay tuned this weekend. Big weekend, Lobo Athletics, and of course, local radio for you here on the opening drive. Everybody, Metal, peace and love. Have a great weekend.
Riley Ottman bodies that ball. Ava Love, wide open bucket. She drifts through the air and knocks it home. So
out of the corner, no. Nora with the rebound, quickly gets it ahead to Louise. In transition, the left-hand layup is good for Luciano Webster.
oh, Lyra Corona, she has a chance to change that story. She does.
Diaz now with the ball. It's a 3-point lead. Montoya, she tries to equalize. Boom! Olivia Montoya with her second 3-ball of the second half.
There's an assist from half court on the inbounds pass.
That's a long shot. The laser shot. Holy cow. Defense closes down quickly. Garcia Romero for 2.
With the rebound here, Benjamin.
Throw it up.
He's going to throw it up to his big fella, and his third dunk of the night. Hey, remember, Greg Brown doesn't have any timeouts. They get it into Hill. Hill's going to have a chance to win it at the hole.
Yeah!
He does it. Hill bangs in the 3, and the Hawks win it 60-59.
dreaming about that brand new Subaru? You know which one you want, but have you been able to really drive one yet? Whether you're online at fiestasubaru.com or ready to get out and drive the real thing, our Subarus are sanitized and ready to drive. There's never been a better time to fall in love with your new Subaru. So get driving now at Fiesta Subaru on Lomas or online at fiestasubaru.com to schedule your real test drive.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS Network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state champions.